the SeaDoo GTX. I think it's a 2005. Had some problems starting, and I thought it was a dead battery, which only lasts for about a season and a half anyways. So I took out the old battery and put in a new battery. I still had the problem when I would plug in the start cord, push start, it would just click. The clicking was coming from down in this area, never really engaging the starter, so I figured it was probably the start solenoid. Turns out it was. Before I removed the old start solenoid, I took these covers off of the power leads. One goes to the battery, one goes to the starter. And then I took a screwdriver and I jumpered across these two contacts. And immediately, once the screwdriver made contact, it bypassed the solenoid and engaged the starter. This part's $19 online. I bought it from my local dealership, a new replacement part which has been significantly redesigned. $46 for the new part. The solenoid is mounted on the electronics board on the port side of the boat, just to the left side of the battery. It's mounted right here. It's held onto that aluminum strip by a couple of 10mm screws. There's a waterproof connection where the control line goes in, and one of the wires hooks to the starter and the other wire hooks to the battery. Once I got the old solenoid removed from the boat, I had a problem sourcing the part. Originally it was built with this metal cover that's riveted onto this plastic housing, and I suspect moisture gets in underneath the gasket, and that's what caused the component to fail prematurely. The boat only has about 150 hours on it, which means this probably has been actuated about 1,000 times, maybe less than that, and it's failed. I hear a lot of people complain about Columbia PowerSports. I read a lot of negative press online about Columbia PowerSports. I tried to source the part locally, only to find a marina that was perfectly willing to sell me this same part, which is outdated, and it was obviously used. It had scuff marks on it. It had been removed from a wrecked boat, and they wanted the same price as Columbia PowerSports. This is the new part that Columbia PowerSports supplies for the SeaDoo. Fully enclosed, ABS plastic. It's completely redesigned for the marine environment. Now, you can argue that it should have been put in the boat to begin with. The bottom line is, Columbia PowerSports is doing the right thing. Yes, the part was expensive. Yes, I could have gotten it online cheaper. Yes, it's a pain in the rear to drive all the way over there to get it, but they had it, and it's a better part than the original part. Here's a different angle. That's the electronic control board circuit panel. You can see that I have the waterproof covers off of the fuses because I was troubleshooting to see if I had a blown fuse, and that was what was causing it not to start. But it was the solenoid. Here I am installing a new solenoid. You can see these waterproof caps that go on the terminal ends. When you're jumpering it to test your solenoid, you'll need to remove those caps and then find a screwdriver, preferably one with a plastic handle, to be able to jumper across those 2 points. And if your starter turns over, it means your solenoid was bad. So replace it and buy a good one. Buy a new one from an authorized dealer. So I'm down to one last connection. I found it a lot easier to hook the battery lead and the starter cable up to the solenoid without it being bolted to the wall. You can see the through bolts. It's now back in place, and this is the last connection, the control switch. There we go. That should have solved my problems. So now I'm going to hook the battery back up try to start it.